Welcome back to Questing Beast. I'm Ben. Today we're going to take a look at the spells in Knave 2nd Edition and how you can use these spell tables to create millions, billions perhaps, of different types of spells that you can give to your players to really shake up your game of Knave or just of D&D in general. So here is our page for generating new spells, and you're always going to be using this spell formula down here. So you fill in each of these words in brackets with one of these random tables, either by simply picking a thing that you like from one of those tables or randomly rolling it. My favorite reason for generating new spells is because of Chaos Spellbooks, which is a system that I use in some of my games where players get a spellbook that generates a new random spell every day. They can only be cast once for that day, and then they get a new one the next day. This makes it so that it really focuses on improvisation for that magic user, where every day they have to figure out what weird spells they have, if they have several different Chaos Spellbooks, and how they're going to use them effectively. Players seem to love this system. Let's get one now. So first we have to roll for the spell formula, and we got a 6. So that's the quality effect element. Okay, so we start with quality over here, the quality effect element. We have 94. So the unnatural, and our effect is 26. The unnatural darkening, and what is the element? The element is 84. The unnatural darkening stench. Once you have come up with a spell like this, you would talk with your dungeon master to figure out what exactly it does. And in many cases, it's pretty obvious what it does, but sometimes you want to spell out in more precise terms. So for example, here, what this might do is it creates a darkening stench cloud, right? A horrible cloud of fog or smoke or something similar, where the players are going to have their vision obstructed, but because it has a horrible stench as well, you could have them roll a save of some sort, maybe a constitution save, to not fall on the ground gasping at the horribleness of the smell. All right, let's generate another spell. We're going to roll on our formula table. We got an 8 this time. Wizard's name, effect, form. So we can simply pick a wizard's name if we want, like Quinfan or Jordan, but we're going to roll, I think, to get a weird name like 72. That's going to be Rudishan. So Rudishan's what? It was 8, right? So we need an effect and a form. Rudishan's what? Effect, form. 97. Rudishan's vaporizing. Vaporizing what? His vaporizing gloves. All right, so what does this do? You cast this spell and magical gloves appear on your hands. You can make them shimmering perhaps. And when they touch something, the thing they touch turns into vapor. So you can simply part it to the side as if it were fog and walk through it. And then perhaps once you've done so, maybe within a round, it goes back together again. Is this only going to work on inanimate objects? Could you actually use it on creatures as well? That's something you're going to have to work through with your game master. Let's roll one more. Rolling for spell formula. And we got a 12. So wizard's name, quality, effect, element. It's got everything. So our wizard's name this time is going to be 53. So that is Nazmok. And we need quality, effect, and element. So all three of these. Nazmok's 52. Magnificent, it's really just for flavor. 70, magnificent, petrifying. And what element is causing this? 6, blood. That's a pretty creepy sounding spell. So let's say that once you cast this spell, your blood gains this new special ability. So you have to actually cause yourself to bleed. Perhaps you lose D6 hit points after you cut yourself to release some of your blood. And if your blood gets splashed upon an enemy, it's going to petrify them and turn them to stone. I might even allow a player to, for example, get some vials and fill it up with their blood with D6 hit points per vial that they fill to save this stuff for later. You can create your own magic potions in effect. Now you can also use this symbol for magic items. Now in Knave, these are called relics. They're essentially magic items that you get once you ally yourself with a particular deity or patron. Since relics are often themed along the same lines as the domains that the patron controls, let's roll a couple of those. It's usually best to roll 2 domains and combine them to get something a little bit more interesting. So 42, the patron's domains are light, and let's say 83, and the hearth. Those things go pretty well together. So let's say that this is a home deity, the god of the hearth, but also of the light outside. And maybe you can tie this into mythology of the world and say that the sun up in the sky is the hearth of the universe. So what's a good magic item that would tie in with that? Well, you can come up with something on your own, or you can switch to the miscellaneous items at the back here. We have lots of different kinds of items, including tools, normal items, books, clothing, fabrics, decorations, and even more stuff, treasures, materials, weapons, and so forth. But maybe let's just start with miscellaneous items and see what we get. So what kind of magic item is here? 59. So let's say that is an organ of some kind. And then you would have to roll on the, on page 64, different animal organs. I don't know if that ties in really well with the hearth, although maybe it's something that you're cooking. I don't know. I feel like we're getting a little bit too out there. Let's roll again because it's your game. You can do whatever you want. 55. A material of some sort. Again, not too sure about that. I want something a little bit more concrete. So 48, let's go with a locket. Fine. Now, lockets are often used with a picture or a little thing inside to remind you of something maybe in your family or in your past. That seems to tie in pretty well with the hearth, which is a symbol of the home. Now at this point, if I was making just a random magic item, I could simply roll on the effects table from the magic tables, or maybe the elements, and get something that I might use. Like if I got 90, then this locket can strangle someone. Maybe it's a kind of a trap. You give it to someone as a present, they put it on, strangles them. That doesn't really tie in with the particular theme that we have here, so I think it's often better to just scan through the effects and find something that you think fits thematically. For example, you might pick something like monitoring. So you could designate a particular room in maybe your home base, your tower, your castle as your home. And then as you travel around the world with your locket, at any time you could open up your locket and maybe there's a little mirror inside and you can monitor what's going on in your home base. That seems to fit pretty well with the light and hearth themes. But let's say you want a magic item that isn't a relic tied to a particular god. Let's say you just want a magic weapon. Here we go. Let's roll on our weapons table. 46. That is going to be a khopesh, which is a kind of curved blade that was used in ancient Egypt. And what special ability does this come with? We could go with effect or we could go with element. I'm going to go with element because I think that's going to be cool. We have 27, and that is foam. A foam khopesh? That's kind of funny. Maybe it's like a Nerf khopesh, but that doesn't really work so well. So let's roll again. And we got a 66, and this one is quicksilver. What I'm imagining for this is that it appears to be a normal khopesh, but with a simple spell, maybe you can just activate it with your mind, or maybe there's like a button on the side of it. It turns into liquid silver and reforms into different bladed weapons. So it's every type of bladed weapon in one. Or perhaps let's start with a treasure as a base if you want a magical treasure of some kind. We have 94, and that starts off with a throne. That'll be interesting. And let's add an effect to it. What kind of throne is it? 83. It is a scrying throne. So sit upon the throne, you can see very far away. Or roll again. We have, let's say, 31, and it's a disguising throne. When you sit upon the throne, you can appear to be whatever you want to be. When you combine all the different types of items and all the different types of spell effects, there's a near infinite number of magic things that you can add to your D&D game or your Knave game or really any other fantasy role-playing game. What I especially like is that this creates a lot of spells that are not damage spells. Of course, it can create damage spells as well. And when that happens, my general guidelines is that it should do about D6 damage for each point of intelligence that you have, or maybe each level that you have if you're using normal D&D. But the focus is really on creating the sorts of spells that manipulate the world and the environment in all sorts of unexpected ways and force players to get creative with how they use them. If you want to get a copy of Knave and use these tables to generate all the spells and magic items, as well as monsters and dungeons and wildernesses and cities and everything else in a fantasy role-playing game, you can check it out using the link below. It's available in PDF or in print form now. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.